Today we have a marvelous guest speaker. His name is Dan, and he is from the tremendous organization Clean Guru. I've spoken with Dan several times, and I've watched his training videos, and I can unreservedly give him my highest recommendation. He is indeed the real thing. I am certain that he can assist us in building better businesses and achieving greater success. And so without further ado, Dan, I give you the floor.
Well, that is very high praise. I appreciate that. I don't know how much of that I deserve, but I'll certainly do my best. And EP, good evening to you, and good afternoon rather. Mark, I appreciate you. Hi there. Hey, Greg. I appreciate you bringing me on here and to kind of share a little bit of the story of what is now a software program that we offer to help cleaning business owners. A long time ago, I was probably 27 years old. My business partner and I, actually his dad and my dad, were barbers together. And then Tony, he and I are business partners together. We actually bought a real small cleaning business. And when we were 27, 28 years old, and we started to build it, and we really struggled. But in the end, we finally figured out, we overcame some of those hurdles that are so hard when you're trying to go from being small to being stable, to growing, to being successful in a cleaning business. And so we figured out a little bit of how to do that. And so that really was a wonderful thing. And so years later, in the company, we ran our cleaning company for over 20 years. But about in the year 18 or 19, we started to develop software because we knew lots of cleaning business owners that really struggled with how to bid, how to get a job. So they were great people, but they didn't know, how long should that place take to clean? How much should I charge? And how do I put together a proposal that would be kind of impressive and professional to make our best case for getting the job? So we set on it to work on creating a software to help all the cleaning business owners that were like us that were trying to do that. So that's what we worked on, and it started with bidding. And the bidding part of our software is still the biggest part that is used. Now, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, now folks are really using a lot of our other programs like invoicing, scheduling, timekeeping, inspecting, those kind of things. But tonight, I just wanted to focus most of the 15, 20 minutes just on bidding. And so I wanted to show you how we believe, and a lot of folks are very nice to say they really appreciate our software, and how kind of easy it is if you're first getting started. Hi there. If you're first getting started to kind of use this software, because at first you go, oh my gosh, it's intimidating. Let me see if I can share my screen, guys, and let's see if this works. So let's go here, and we will go there, and we will share sound, and we will share. Let's see how this works. Tell me, guys, if you see my screen share.
Yep.
Okay, you guys see that? Cool. This is when you first come to our software. And by the way, both janitorial companies and residential cleaning services use our software. Most of our clients are janitorial, but some also do residential. So it's kind of a combination. But today I just wanted to show you what it kind of looks like when you first come to our software. Let's say we go to bids, which is what a lot of folks want to do. And let's say janitorial, because janitorial means a lot for us. Office cleaning, all kinds of things fit into janitorial. I'll show you that in just a second. So you say, listen, I want to do a new bid. I got to get a bid out for this person. So here you go. You click on new bid. Well, let's pick somebody. Let's pick a company called Pavelli Graphics. I made this up. This is something we just use for a demo. So we pick Pavelli Graphics. And let's say I give this bid a name, and I call it Pavelli Graphics 5 days a week. So I'll call it 5X. All right. What it asks you, and that's the name, by the way. Here, I'll highlight, reference only. It will not appear in the proposal. So it's a name I just made up for me. So it's kind of a name that I'll always know it by. It simply asks you what kind of a building, what type of building it is. We really worked on this over all the years, and it's preloaded to handle all these kinds of buildings. So let's pick office cleaning, because it's very common. And then let's pick how frequent. Well, in this case, let's go 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So we've got it loaded and we simply click create. Now, what's happening that we think is amazing is what just happened is for years, Tony and I, my business partner, had to work on getting this thing preloaded so that when you put in your square footage, the kinds of tasks for an office, a hallway, a lunchroom, a locker room, all the kind of work you're normally expected to do would be preloaded. Not only preloaded with the times associated to dusting, associated damp mopping, associated to wiping, all those associated times are stuck in there with the tasks by the kind of building, for the kind of floor type, for that area. That was the biggest thing that took us so many years. But when we finally got it going, this is what ended up happening. And so here you are, you started this. We simply go to areas. This is where we put how big is the building. Now you can put in each room individually. You can, the length, the width, and the floor type. You absolutely can. You just click manual. I'll show you in a second, show you how you can do that. But many people use Express because sometimes all you know is, hey, listen, it's a 10,000 square foot office building. So let's click on Express. Now what Express does is it kind of takes your measurements of the square footage and it breaks it down by hallway, office, conference, entry, lobby, bathroom. It breaks it down based on typical breakdowns of percentages for that kind of building. So here you see that, for example, most of an office building is offices, but quite a bit, 15–16% is hallways. Then there's restrooms. It doesn't take up much room, but the restrooms is 4%. These can be changed. You can change the percentage here. Let's say I made that 0. Well, all of a sudden that became 99. All I have to do is add it somewhere else. So all you can do, what you can do pretty easily is you can change. If you know a little bit more about the building than we do, you can adjust it a little bit to make it look like the building you're bidding on. But a lot of times this is a pretty nice setup. So up here at the top, let's say, again, let's say 10,000 square foot building. There we go. Did I get the zeros right? No, too many. There. 10,000 square foot building. Now, the same thing with this. If you know it's carpet, then you can put carpet, or you can put, well, it's waxable or non-waxable. It's real easy to change this. Look here, you can add an area. Maybe we didn't have that it had a mail room or a locker room. You can add those kind of areas too. But once you have this set, you simply click enter. And when you do, those measurements they load into the entire thing we have set up behind the scenes. Now, it has all been now loaded that quickly. You can go through and you can now, like I said, you could put in here, 7 by 10, and you could put add a square footage. You could put waxable, and if you clicked add, it will add 70 square feet. You could do it manually. That's fine too. In fact, let me go ahead and do that. If I click that, it just added 70 square feet of waxable floors. That's fine. So you can not only use Express, you can change it up. What's amazing is kind of neat too is this. You see this options button? If you click on this, you can click on every area. Let's say the lobby. And you can go through every task that we have preloaded. And there's times that go with this. And you can actually change the frequency of what we have set up. Why do we have dust mopping 4 days a week? Because we have damp mopping damp wiping once a week. So if you're thoroughly wiping once a week, well, we're spot dusting 4 nights a week. So it's set up for a typical situation. But the nice thing is this, it's so easy to move tasks up and down. You can click on a task and change the way it's worded. You can change how frequently it's done. You can change how often you want that area done. You could say, listen, all of the lobby, well, the lobby is very difficult. You could change it to heavy. So all of that can be done for what? For every area in the building that quickly. And when you're done with that, you simply go back and we've now put in the measurements and we go to price. When you come here to price, what you're going to see is up at the top, there's a calculated time estimate for how long to clean this office building each visit. So Monday, Tuesday, each visit, 3.9 is the estimate. How did they get that estimate? We call it workloading. Every area, every task, based on the square footage, 1,600 square feet of hallways, 3,000 square feet of offices. All the tasks based on the square footage are being workloaded to come up with that calculated time. Now, what you can do is you can change it. Let's say, well, 3.9, let's make it 4 hours even. So I'm going to put someone on a building 5 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock at night. So you're assuming, let's say, 4 hours a night. We put in a wage here, but you can change it from 18.50 to 14 to 20, whatever you're thinking of paying the cleaning person or persons per hour. So that's the wage rate. Then we have estimates for taxes and overhead. These three, taxes, overhead, and profit, those are proprietary sliding scales that we've worked on a long time to help come up with this, the estimated price. Hours, wages, payroll tax, overhead, profit. Now you can change these and update them, but we then give an estimated price. When you're done, and by the way, if you change things like we did here, let's recalculate, because we put 4 hours, didn't we? I never clicked recalculate. Shame on me. There we go. Now, if from 3.9 to 4, it upped the price a little bit. When you're all set, let's say you put in there a decision of $2,975. That's what you decide you'd like to charge. It's kind of nice because it tells you, here's the profit margin, and that's a $34 an hour billing rate. Now, we're paying the cleaner $18.50, but a price of $3,000 or $29.75 is essentially billing $34 an hour, kind of called an hourly billing rate. So that's what we have there. When we're done with that and we like what that looks like, we click save. When we go to proposal, the proposal's already set up for you. You can include reports like measurement summaries. Look at this. This is kind of neat. I get so excited because when we try to do this, we try to not only help to figure out the times and the prices, but how to promote it. So, it's a beautiful proposal and kind of promote your cleaning company. So if you click on this little view button, you can see that we have preloaded things. This promotes how we do workloading. This promotes how you direct and supervise your work. This one here is a sample work ticket. Here's work tracking, because let's say you're using our timekeeping, you could include that. That would promote that. It's a highlight. You could include a sample timesheet and inspections and so on. These are things here now, but there's even additional ones. We call these service highlights. So service highlights, let's say you do background checks on everybody you hire, and you'd like to tell your client that you do that. By the way, we also have, look at option. You can change the image. We have an optional image for the bottom. And once you're done, you can go through all these. For example, let's look at this one, ID badges. There's the marketing highlight ready to go for ID badges. And so here's the thing. So let's go back. So if you, let's say, do uniform shirts, you do background checks and ID badges, and you also want to include work directing about your supervisors, you're good to go. Let me go ahead and click this and see if you guys can see this and tell me if you do. So it's taking all of that, and that quickly, we're looking at a proposal, professional, for Pavelli Graphics. Here it is. The name of our cleaning company we made up is Green Branch Cleaning. It has your name, your logo. It has a cover sheet made up where we put your logo, and a nice little cover sheet directed at the person who's in charge of Pavelli Graphics. And then it goes through. There's the billing. There's $29.75 a month. You could include initial cleaning. It goes right through the entire proposal. This is kind of nice. You see how our philosophy is kind of stuck there between two pages? Can you see that, Mark?
Yeah.
If you click over here where it says our philosophy, watch what happens. It pushed it down to the next page. It pushed it down to the next page. Why?
Yeah.
Because it looks better. It just looks better. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of tweaking. It's that last thing where you kind of make your proposal look really great. And so you go through this. Remember, this was the boilerplate of cover page, cover letter, and the basic sections of the proposal. Then we got to the agreement where people, you can sign, they can sign. Then the job specifications by area. office, task, how often, hallways, restrooms, lunchrooms. And then after that came the measurement summary. I clicked on the measurement summary. Look at that, 10,000 square feet. Why is it seven?
So Dan, I'm sorry, can I interrupt just a second? So all this information you're showing right now, the hours are being worked and what's being cleaned and the measurements, that's part of your bid that you're giving people?
We don't give them. Remember when we had the price, the hours, and the price, and the wage, and the time?
Yeah.
They don't see that. This is what goes to the customer. That's a good question, Mark. Let's go back. This is the proposal the customer sees, the prospect sees. They see a cover page, cover letter. The price they see is what you're saying you're going to bill them a month. There's their price, $29.75 a month. There's areas here that talk about, initial cleaning, invoicing, supervision, but the whole background of how much the hours are and that kind of thing, they don't have to see that.
Right.
They don't have to see that unless you wanted them to know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, by the way, if you wanted them to know the hours, let's go back a second. If you wanted them to know the hours, what you do is you click on areas hour summary. Let's go back to preview. Let me shut this real quick. And let's go back to preview. And down here, so again, the basic, there's the price, the general supervision, invoicing, supplies. And down here, we saw the specifications. And then we could include not only a measurement summary, and by the way, that's the 70 square feet we added to the 10,000. There it is, broken out by area, by kind of floor. And then there's an area hour summary, which is essentially what it's just a rounding area here.
Yeah, that might be somewhat, it's something you wouldn't want to necessarily show the employer, because that they see how much money you're paying your employees and things of that sort. But I do like everything above that. I think that might because you're showing us such a professional janitorial bid. That I think it adds to the professionalism of it when it shows that you know exactly what the square footage is for every room, you know how many hours this is going to take, and we're going to do these cleanings, we're going to do on these nights. It just looks absolutely fantastic. The only question I really have, and the thing that's been confusing for me all this time, is okay, you've gone through the building, you've talked to the owner is ready to sign, he's going to say yes. How do you give them the bid for them to sign?
Okay,
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
Dan. Hey, real quickly, I'll be honest with you guys. This is a foolproof program.
Yeah.
I have been using this program since 2016.
Oh,
Guru is the truth. It's very foolproof. They literally have everything broken down. You can even edit it, the different flyers and stuff, the service highlights. So I know it looks horrible, and they have a demo portion, by the way. That looks horrible. It looks kind of really
looks great.
But I'm just saying, it looks like it's a lot to deal with. But trust me, it's foolproof. You click, that's it.
Yeah, well, wonderful.
Yeah, well, first of all, EP, shame on me. I didn't even know you're one of our clients. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Oh, no problem, sir. I love this program.
Oh, thank you. And by the way, I'll tell you a little joke. I'll tell you a little thing, even though it seems like a little overwhelming. Sometimes, and maybe EP can tell you this over time. And by the way, do you go by EP? I'm probably saying, is that what do you go by? Okay. EP, even though it seems like a lot at first, what most people say is they can't believe how 1, 2, 3 easy it is when you're using it. And so
my business partner who I invited on here, Tony, was the one who showed me, because I was like, oh man, I want to do this, want to do that. He's like, it's already there. I'm like, where? So he went back. I said, man, I didn't even go over anymore. So he's on the call tonight, by the way, guys. And like I said, he was very instrumental in showing me what all Clean Guru had to offer. So
well, EP, maybe you could answer this question then, because I think it's the natural next progression in our train of thought. outstanding bid sheet. I mean, I can see how it's going to impress people that you're a professional business, and just the different parts of it, how some of it you can use as a letter of introduction and things of that sort. It's just absolutely fantastic. But when you've walked through a building and you've convinced the owner that yeah, he wants to hire you, he can really see that you guys know what you're talking about, and you want to close the deal before you walk out to the street. How do you do that with this bid?
Okay, I'm sorry, I should get right to this. Let me explain. So here's the thing. So, and by the way, I do want to comment, that's why the area's hour summary is often turned off unless someone wants it.
Right.
But here, let's get to your question. After we've previewed this, and give me just 1 second. So what we're doing is we have this right in front of us already created now for us. And it not only is the specs and not only the reports, it has the different highlights that you wanted to mention about your company. When you ask the question, what do you do? I've delivered, as you know, with your own company too. We built a small company into a large company. And what we generally did is one of two things. I like to print them and deliver them because I actually like to get with the client and talk to them and get it signed and be with them. So I like that. But the world today has moved much more towards emailing. So very often what folks do you see this right here, Mark? You click email. Now watch this. What's happening is this right now, when it says loading, and this will take a minute because it's loading all these images. So it could be a minute.
Okay, I got it. It's genius. Yes, that's the great answer.
You simply load it. And then what's going to happen is as soon as it's done, it will have a PDF that you could click at and open. This gets sent from you to them. You can blind carbon copy yourself. You can change the wording of this and you send it. And not only that, when you send this, and EP, you can tell them when it goes through, you get email verification that it got there. You get verification that it was read and open.
Immediately.
Now, can you do that right there on the spot? Say, sir, I have the bid for you right here. I'll just send it to you via email. Click, click, click. He send it to him, and then he can open it up and he can sign it, and you can walk out with the account.
That's right. Now, that's right. I mean, they can print that and they can sign it that way. We're looking at e-signature from the client. We're looking at we're looking at creating an e-signature feature so the cleaning business owner can pop in their own digital signature. But in most cases in janitorial work, as you know, there's kind of a meeting where you're trying to talk about the program because cleaning jobs are a little bit bigger than a plumbing job. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. So very often, for example, right here, you're right. I mean, this is now, if I click send, this would be emailed right here, blind carbon copy to me, and there's the PDF. They could print it, they could sign it, they can hand it right to you. That's right.
Excellent.
That's right. And as EP and I were talking about, what happens is once you do that and you send it, right underneath here, it gives you email verification. I'll have to look, by the way, let me show you something. I'm glad you mentioned this. Let's take one quick minute to show you something. There's a little button down here. Let's go to it again. There's a little question mark here. And anytime we're not around or you have a question, let's see if I put in email verification. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Use email verification. So if I click on that and I click on this, that's how quickly you can see the following. 39 seconds.
When emailing a bid, ticket, inspection, or invoice, our email verification feature is helpful. 4 simple color codes are used to show the current status of the email. Yellow indicates the email was sent and is waiting for delivery response. Blue indicates it was received by the server of the person or company it was sent to. Green shows the email was opened by the recipient, while red indicates the email was refused, blocked, or marked as spam.
That's it. Now, again, I just wanted to show you that because I don't know, BP, if you ever had a chance to do this, if you ever have a question, there's hundreds of videos in here that are like 1 minute long that make it very easy and helpful.
Yes, sir. There's questions and also training videos.
Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of handy that way. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, let's close this for a second, is did you notice that when I went to the proposal, it asked me, do I want to schedule? Let me show you this. If I close this, It asks me, do I want to schedule follow-up?
Ah,
And this is something we work very hard on. So if you come here and you go, yeah, I want to schedule follow-up, what does that even mean? Check this out. Let's say you want to say a thank you for letting me have the opportunity to bid. Bam. Here's your logo. Here's your picture of yourself. Dear Kevin, thanks for the opportunity for letting us create a bid for you. Our goal is to design a plan to help get and keep your facilities looking good. You can send this. How? Here's the deal. You go, I do want to send them that. You can send it automatically on a date you pick, and it will go.
yeah.
On the other hand, you could say, I don't want to send it automatically. I'd like to send it myself. You simply click on manual and you click on reminder, and you can put your own email or phone or text in there. And on the day you want to be reminded, it will remind you want to manually send that follow-up. And what other kind of follow-ups are checked? This is kind of neat. Here's an after walkthrough. Thank you for allowing us to create a bid. We appreciate you taking the time to arrange a building walkthrough to help us gather necessary information. It's the thank you for the walkthrough. And there you are. You can turn off your logo, you can turn off your image, or you can include them, and you are good to go. And by the way, there's ones for the first follow-up. I really am pretty proud of this. So it says, I just got the proposal to you. Please take a look at it. I know you're going to have questions. The second follow-up says, do you have any follow-up questions? It's not unusual when going through a proposal to have questions. We wouldn't expect you to hire us without careful review. Then you check out that one. You go, you know what about a third one 2 weeks later? You know what? Deciding what contractor to use can take time. It's understandable. And I realize this isn't likely the only issue you're facing. So things got busy. These are appropriately, we believe, worded follow-ups that you can schedule that'll go out automatically to the people you're trying to encourage to hire you. So we're pretty excited about it. And so here's what you do. It's as easy as 4 steps. You're putting in the information, the square footage. You're putting in the square footage. You're deciding on your price. Your price feeds through to your proposal. And by the way, I got to take a minute to show you guys this.
Hey, real quickly, Dan.
Hey, Pete.
Another great thing about the what you were just saying, the letters.
Yeah.
You can actually also kind of go in and put a little something extra, something like, say, for instance, you developed a rapport with the actual person that you are doing a proposal you did the walkthrough with. It may have been a sporting game or an event or something that you guys talked about that can kind of make them chuckle. Anything to get a person to smile or to laugh or to get any type of a positive reaction is a positive way to get that contract. So anything you can do to spark their attention and remembrance of who you are, that can work.
I tell you, EP, those little points of connection that connect you in a human way to another person. Absolutely. You're exactly right. If you go to follow-up, you can adjust every one of those letters. You can change and edit to be the way that you want it to be. That is editable. When you change that, you simply click save. That's right. That's right.
Excellent.
I wanted to point out something kind of neat. Not only can you make changes here, for example, in the proposal. Oops, let me turn this off. I'm going to have things going off. On the proposal, I wanted to point out, for example, here's a button called options. Well, what's the options on the proposal? Well, I'm working on this proposal. I can change the cover page and decide what I want to include. On the cover letter, I can decide what I want to include. You see this button, use instead? You can change the wording to something you want to use. Every area, let's say you call invoicing billing. Well, just go to the edit button. You don't use the word invoicing. You use the word billing. I just changed that category in the proposal to billing. Now, every one of these things can be changed. Not only that, let's say that you don't like the equipment one. Well, you could not use it. You can turn it off, or you can change the wording. You can use page numbering or not. You can actually attach not only references, you can type, like turn it on. You can include references, and you can include up to 10, I think it's up to 10 one single page attachments.
10.
There you go. You've used it, I can tell. By the way, do you know what? I just talked about options when you're on a proposal. What if you say to yourself, this is crazy. I don't want to have to work on each one this hard. Here's the trick. You go up simply to the button up here and you go to settings and you go to bids and you go to janitorial. And right now I can change each one of these things, each one of the sections of the proposal to be the way I would like it to look on every new bid from now on. What do they call that? Isn't that called preference level? Preference level. So that would be preference level. We call it settings. You can make decisions about everything as far as the way you like wording. Here, let's look at insurance. Let's say you don't include bonding. You'll turn it off. Well, if you do, it'll never appear on a new bid. So it's a way to save you a ton of time. You don't have to keep doing it.
Yeah, excellent.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or another thing you want to do too, and I was able to do that. I forgot how I was able to do it, but I was able to put down how we did a safety briefing every day,
Right.
An OSHA topic related safety briefing every day. That was something that popped out to our customers.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Do you notice, by the way, I'll leave this here in a second, but do you see where it says highlights?
Yep.
Highlights, well, on highlights, I could decide what highlights do I always want to appear on a new bid. They'd always appear in a new bid. You just pick them here. What about price? I always want to have a wage of $20. Well, put 20 bucks in here and you can save it. It will always be your wage or your payroll tax. In your email, what do I always want the wording to be? Follow-up. On follow-up, here, follow-up. We just talked about it. What follow-ups do I always want to use the wording for? How do I want the wording to be on all the follow-ups? You don't have to do it every time. I guess that's the biggest thing I wanted to tell you was we tried, and my kids, my wife and I have kids and grandkids, and our own children used to ask, why is this taking you so many years and time to get right? And what they don't realize, they said it looks so simple. And I would contend that our goal is to help people like ourselves to figure out how long to do it, how much to charge, and to look professional, to land the job, but to make it delightful to use and reliable. That's a big mouthful, but we want it to be reliable. We want it to be delightful to use and make you look ultra professional so you can help win jobs and make money. That's what we were trying to do. And so I told the kids, I said, this may look simple, but there's millions and millions of lines of code, as we certainly, of course, you're all younger as well. You know how this, it's just the hours, we have programmers upon programmers working all week, every week for years on this to do this, because the goal is to make it really easy to use and give you what you want. And so I wanted to start tonight with just bidding. And Mark, I appreciate that. There's other things we offer. And down the road, when a company starts doing their invoicing or their scheduling and their timekeeping, we have that available. Same thing with inspections. And by the way, I haven't told anyone this, but I don't want to forget to tell you about another feature we're going to be offering. We have a lot of our programmers working on it. It's going to be called Digital Checklist. And Tony and I, maybe you guys do this too, you send out someone to do a formal inspection. Well, the time and effort that you put into a formal inspection, sometimes it can be important, but sometimes by the time you get it back to them, there's a new cleaner that everything has changed. So one of the things our folks have been asking for is a checklist, a digital checklist. So on the cleaner's phone, you could actually set up, here's 15 things I need done, trash, white, this, that. These little 15 instructions or 18, whatever you have, that would appear on a checklist for the cleaner for that building by night. And of course, you could know what night it was. And they simply go check, 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 check. And you can know that your cleaner is doing what you want in the building that night. And the next morning when you come into the office, you can review your checklists that are done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, it's going to have language translation, and it's going to have, and cleaners can add pictures.
Job well done. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Dan, before you go to templates real quick. Yeah. Some of the different templates you have.
Oh, you mean, as far as say in invoicing?
Yeah, you go right there with templates. The different how they can change different stuff and show different people.
I'll tell you what I'd like to do. Do you see where in invoices, Here's a 1-minute video. I think we really work hard at this. So if you watch this, I'd love to show you this.
Watch
Invoice
this, guys.
recurring. Create a recurring invoice. This is a 1-minute video. One.
To create a recurring invoice, click on Templates. Then New Template. Select the customer to be billed. Give the template a name and click Create. You can enter your own description of the work or pick from the list provided here. You can add a line, if you'd like, to the bill for another service, products, or simply hourly work. Add tax, if it applies, and the amount to be invoiced. Select your terms. Enter a PO number if you'd like. Now, click here near the top to schedule the recurring invoice.
There you go.
Choose how often you want it to go out and a start date. Which you'll see confirmed here. Then, pick an end date if there is one. Finally, you can decide if you want the invoices to be emailed automatically or not. If not, they'll be generated when scheduled and waiting for your approval to print or email. Click Save, and your recurring invoice will be scheduled and ready to go.
That's an example of a template. They used to sometimes be called the master or the template. It's something that drives the way every new one will look.
Yeah.
Well, that's a template in invoicing.
And reason why I want to show that to you guys, because a lot of times we get so afraid, because don't be afraid to be successful, because these guys have templates and plans already in place for you. That's why I wanted you to see it. Mr. Dan has done a wonderful job putting this program together. And hey, I think this is a great partnership for us.
Oh my God. My business partner, Tony, and I'll tell my wife when I go upstairs tonight, I had no idea that you were going to be on. I thank you for being so kind about our program. But you know what? I tell you this, EP, I am as excited at 64 in March years old as I was at 27 when we first started. I mean, it is fun. It is kind of fun. And maybe I'll get out of it when I finally am not excited about, but it is fun to make it come to life. And I do appreciate it when people appreciate what it does. And we're trying to take away the fear by step walking folks through it. So they hear.
Right. That's a frustration I have, because, when veterans ask me to assist them in starting this business, I know they're sincere and they're well intentioned.
Right.
But too often, when it comes to the point of actually making a bid, there's a wall. And it's sometimes hard for me to help them break through that wall. And I think this is going to be a tremendous asset and a tremendous tool for all of my U.S. military clean owners. And I want to make sure that I'm providing that to everyone who comes in. So we'll talk about that later. Well, before we leave, though, I want to say hi, Tony. How are you doing? I've never met you before.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I work with EP, and like you were saying, as far as the program, the simplicity is not the big thing for me. It's the inclusivity. Everything is included in this program. And like I said, we use it for timekeeping, bids, invoicing, just everything is under one house.
Well, that's a great testimony for this call. Thank you so much, guys. Well, God bless you. Does anyone have anything else to say before we go?
Yeah. Quick question. If we want more information on Dan, on your guru, we go online and for the pricing and everything else?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to cleanguru.com. My mom used to call it Clean Guru, but I said that's a kangaroo. She's got it wrong, but it's cleanguru.com. But yeah, absolutely. Or you know what? Another thing I wanted to mention too, I just thought of it right before I got on. If you'd like a copy of a book I wrote, a PDF, it's a PDF, I'll send you in an email. I wrote a book a while back, and even though it's been a few years, I think the points in it still are pretty relevant. And it's kind of written like 75 or 85 little points. And I bet you anything, you'd get 3 or 4 ideas. You go, man, that works for me. So if you like it, just send me an email at dan@cleanguru.com, dan@cleanguru.com, and I'll send you a free PDF of this. I think you might like it. Maybe it puts you to sleep at night, but I think you might, you might appreciate it. And
Well, Dan, before you go
Yeah.
though, you have to tell us how to pronounce your last name.
Liebrecht.
Okay, Liebrecht. Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, my business partner's name is Tony Deach. And
Okay.
like I said, our dads work together now. We've worked together. And our children are friends too, but they're not in business together. But it was kind of a nice thing. I was telling Mark that my mom and dad, my dad was in the infantry in World War II in over in Europe during the Bulge, and my mom was in the Navy, in the waves. My mom was a code breaker. And
wow.
Washington, D.C. And so I really have a connection to the military and appreciation, obviously. And like I say, I used to always kid, my dad lived to almost 96. My mom lived to 100. And when mom and dad got to be 94, let's say 95, I wondered to myself, how many 94-year-old people were both in World War II, husband and wife, were still married and we're still alive. And I bet you it's a short list.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, amen. Well, God bless you guys. And Dan, God bless you for doing this. And
Mark.
I know it must be a wonderful feeling to know you have produced a fantastic product that is and will be a great assistance to many people starting these businesses. And I thank you with all my heart for all the work and the labor and the patience and the expense that you've gone through in producing this. I mean, kudos for that. There's going to be a reward for you in heaven for that work, let me tell you.
I'm putting that down. Hey, first of all, Mark, thank you very much. EP, thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much. If there's anything you need I can do for you, just write me an email, dan@cleanguru.com, or call our office. It has been a pleasure tonight. It just has exceeded my expectations. How fun.
Great. Okay,
Hey,
God
Greg,
bless you guys.
Greg,
Okay.
real quickly, there's a free demo on the website.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
cleanguru.com, there's a free demo. I just wanted you to know that. I'm not getting
Appreciate
a
it.
commission, guys, by the way. He never met me before tonight, but I just believe in his work.
EP, I cannot believe you dropped into my life this night. My wife, when I go upstairs, she will not believe the story I'll tell her.
Okay, that's great.
You
Okay,
deserve
God
it,
bless you
brother.
guys.
Everybody be
Bye-bye.
blessed.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.